Well, Danger 5, essentially, is a live-action television interpretation of men's adventure magazines from the 1960s.
Men's adventure magazines are like Playboy magazines, they're otherwise called armpit sweats. Where's the ones with fiction covers? Oh, this smells great.
Just about everything that happened in Danger 5 was directly inspired by the cover of one of these magazines. They're like an evolution of pulp novels and pulp fiction, basically.
They range from cowboys and Indian stories to like, you know, goon stories and of course World War II stories. And they were big in the 40s all the way up to the early 70s, and then they just sort of died out when, you know, Playboy and Hustler came out.
David and myself took that basis of an idea and then channeled the best elements of every 1960s movie that we've ever loved and poured them into one consolidated mass of concepts.
We decided that there'd be no leader in Danger 5, unlike the Power Rangers where it's like, I'm the Red Ranger, or I'm the White Ranger, follow me around. Yeah!
It's a super effective group of spy killing machines that are all as emotionally dysfunctional as they possibly can be. Jackson's character is essentially your Jeff Bridges / Clint Eastwood / Robert Redford revisionist 70s character who gets shit on a lot of the time and is ultimately dissatisfied.
Jackson's the lone wolf American who's quiet and only says stuff when he needs to, and has his own rules that only he knows and nobody else.
Yeah, and has a soft side that's constantly abused.
He's a bit of a rebel, a bit dark and a bit mysterious, so that was fun to work with, just with little things like having that extra button undone and having his gun showing, pushing up the sleeves. Jackson's boots are real steel-capped, hardcore military boots. They weigh a ton, they make him walk in a different way, and he's got a very slimline pant. 60s pants were all about like slimline on the leg and a bit of a high waist.
He was unsure about those pants.
He was not sure about the tight
pants. He loves
pants.
them now, I think.
Yeah.
Jumping off there, guys. Thank you very much. Nice work.
Tucker is the Australian member of Danger 5, although he speaks with a mid-Atlantic accent, and really it's quite difficult to tell that he's from Australia. Tucker is like totally on mission, you know, like wants to be on mission, wants to get there, but he has a bit more fun than some other characters like Claire. But I think his motivation for a lot of it is trying to get close to Claire, because he's sort of a bit in love with this British spy. So Tucker sort of fits in somewhere in between, like someone as uptight as Claire and someone a bit does like a bit of a laugh.
You can't use that.
Okay, here we go, and
We found Sean James Murphy
On our first session.
and he just sprung out and was just.
Whatever, that face is awesome.
We were looking for a face that would look correct in a cigarette commercial.
For as soon as I read the script, like I started reading when I saw the title of the episode #1, I Danced for Hitler. I was like excited, and I read the whole thing straight through and went back and read it again.
Sean James Murphy became one with Tucker somewhere along the line and really inhabited his character and picked up the most subtle nuances and beats and has the most incredible comedic timing. He had the best comedic timing the whole time. He could sell some of the funniest, made things that weren't very funny really hilarious, that were only subtle, subtle movements.
She's of good breeding and she acts accordingly, and her role is to keep things on task. She is not stubborn, she's just right. Whatever she's doing, she will just, you know, take charge of. That's Claire, but always in a dignified, elegant, respectful manner.
With Amanda, then it was I did an audition on Skype, which was pretty futuristic.
Her background is modelling, and Amanda hadn't done much acting before we actually found her on some model lists.
I think she brought a strength and this sort of adultness to the character that I had previously seen as a girlish nature that Claire would have. But interestingly, I think Amanda is the furthest from her character than anybody else in the show, in Out of Danger 5. Like, her in actuality couldn't be any more polar opposite to what Claire's character actually is.
She's a Russian spy who comes into Danger 5, and to sum her up would be hard, but you know, she's strong, capable, she's good at what she does. At the same time, I think she's there to have a good time while doing that.
She's the most brutal out of all the 5. She speaks Russian throughout the whole series, and
everybody understands her
for some reason.
She's obviously not interested in a relationship, and she has her reasons for that. And I think that she feels towards Jackson as she feels towards the other 3, sorry. But at the same time, she's attracted to him. It just won't go any further than that.
Cleather is, you know, alludes to her sort of badass character, I suppose, but also just showed off these legs that she's uses to fight with.
Beautiful, again, very, very fitted high-waisted
Very fitted,
pants.
very high-waisted pants. You know, that silhouette's so 60s. And then the crop top is, I guess, and the, you know, a bit of cleavage showing is, you know, she, as I said, she's aware of her sexiness and she doesn't mind using a bit of that as well.
As soon as we saw Natasha and met her and found out that she could actually speak Russian, we just knew that she definitely had to be Ilsa.
Playing the character was just a very natural process for her, and she went to the effort of learning all of her lines in Russian, which means that already there was sort of a complete character, audio and all, presented to us.
Pierre is a European spy who you never know where he's from, which part of Europe, but I imagine sort of Southern Europe. And he is a sort of dapper, kind of suave gentleman who likes to make cocktails, loves his cocktails, loves his bar, is happy to just sort of sit there making drinks all night, listening to people's conversations and also retelling his own stories. And he's always got, he talks as if everything he says is sort of words of wisdom or something, you know, from all these great life experiences. And he's a man who's sort of like a lone wolf, but I guess everyone in Danger 5 is, in a way. And he has multiple identities which constantly sort of surprise the rest of the group, but is never questioned. He's someone who's quite worldly and has been here, done that. And a friendly kind of figure, a friendly kind of face amongst the group.
The sock and cravat that he wears was actually a really big issue for Chloe and I. We really wanted to get the right sock and the right cravat so that it matched D5, but also showed his kind of dapper nature that he likes to dress up.
The role of Pierre was written with Aldo in mind.
He's just an amazing character in himself, and we infused Pierre with him from the get-go, so he could just walk right into the role. He
created this special Pierre move for the character, which was this little kick thing that Pierre does.
He's got a strong leg kick.
Hitler is my dad. That is, he was played by my father, Carmine.
I was cast as Professor Bernardi in Italian Spider-Man.
And we loved it so much, and he did so much hilarious shit that we thought he should play another character in this, and then it just happened to be, we thought, oh, why not Hitler? Yeah. No, it actually started off, I just photoshopped the moustache and fringe on him. Like, holy shit, he looks a bit like Hitler.
And so he said, well, how about it? Would you like to do this? And I said, yeah, okay, sure.
I don't know, my dad, somewhere along the line, my dad turned into some kind of a real actor, you know? It's like, I could tell him, I just didn't have to tell him much, and he did exactly what I wanted immediately, in total response. I don't know, maybe it's genetics, that we're linked somehow by blood, and that makes it easier.
And dropping the gun. And up. Out. Tower slide.
Tower slide.
I'm feeling like having a muffin.